Amid the depths of the 2008 recession, Californians were enticed by a tantalizing vision, a high-speed train zooming them between Los Angeles and San Francisco in under 3 hours. This dream was the cornerstone of a bold new era in high-speed rail, with plans stretching from San Diego to Vancouver, cutting through the desert to Las Vegas, and eventually spanning the entire continental United States. Despite 14 years of effort and approximately $5 billion invested, however, the initial 2008 promise of swift travel between Los Angeles and San Francisco remains unfulfilled. Welcome to Amazing Projects. In today's video, we will be embarking on a journey to the world of high-speed trains in order to investigate the hidden motivations, delays, and countless issues of California's controversial rail line. Back in 1996, the governor of California of the time, Pete Wilson, established the California High-Speed Rail Authority and gave it one task only: to create a high-speed railway plan to present to the state voters for approval. It would take 12 years, but finally in 2008, under another governor, Gavin Newsom, the plan was approved. In short terms, the plan relied on the sale of $9 billion in state bonds, on the understanding that the LA to San Francisco line would be up and running by 2020. Soon after, the incoming Obama administration raised the stakes by proposing a nationwide initiative, a plan encompassing 8,600 miles of high-speed rail lines, later expanded to 12,000 miles. The goal was to jumpstart a sluggish economy and reduce the nation's reliance on fossil fuels, which posed a significant threat to the climate. Fast forward to the present, and the dream is all but dead. The Obama plan collapsed, falling victim to a combination of inexperience, mismanagement, and furious opposition from several key Republican legislators and state governors. The California project is still technically up and running, but it is far behind schedule, despite 14 years of work and more than $5 billion spent. California's governor, Gavin Newsom, is no longer talking about the 500-mile stretch from LA to San Francisco because the projected price tag has skyrocketed far out of reach. Instead, his office is focusing on a 172-mile segment connecting a handful of medium-sized cities in the flat agricultural Central Valley. Even if the stars align, though, and a restive legislature can be persuaded to release the necessary funds, the segment still might not start serving passengers until 2030. The hopeful perspective on the project's future, championed most fervently by California's High-Speed Rail Authority, its consultants and lobbyists, suggests that completing the Merced to Bakersfield stretch would serve as a proof of concept. The idea is to persuade both state and federal authorities to invest the substantial additional funds needed to extend the rail line further north and south. Advocates assert that while the project comes with a hefty price tag, similar to the initial public investments in the highway system and passenger airline industry, the undeniable economic benefits will justify the expense. Supporters of the project have a golden opportunity. California finds itself in a unique position, boasting a budget surplus of $97.5 billion. Additionally, with the White House allocating billions more, thanks to last year's Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, there's a substantial pool of funds, up to $108 billion, designated for public transport projects. William Vantuono, the editor of the industry publication Railway Age, expressed this sentiment in an article, practically pleading, "All we need is one system up and running. The rest will follow. California right now is our only hope." The more pessimistic perspective is that the project has transformed into a wasteful venture, the classic train to nowhere, and pouring more money into it seems futile. The Merced to Bakersfield stretch, initially projected to cost over $20 billion, exceeds a previous estimate made in 2019 by several $billion, and the expenses are anticipated to rise further. Additionally, it's unclear who would utilize this stretch since it significantly overlaps with an existing Amtrak rail route. "It will never generate enough revenue from fares to sustain itself," remarked Quentin Kopp, a retired legislator and judge who championed the cause of an LA-San Francisco high-speed line for 2 decades, beginning in the 1990s. However, he has now lost faith that it will ever become a reality. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which side of the debate you stand, not a single mile of the project is in full function yet. The only construction being done is on the aforementioned Merced to Bakersfield segment, named IOS in the project papers, with an operational commencement date at the end of 2030. The total length of this line is 119 miles and will eventually be the proof of concept that would allow the project to continue to Phase 1. Phase 1, as shown on the map on screen, consists on the completion of the line from San Francisco to Los Angeles, the total stretch of which would be approximately 500 miles, 390 additional miles to be constructed after the iOS segment finishes. Construction for this phase would start, as mentioned above, after the Central Valley segment finishes, at the earliest in 2031. After this, the project can move to Phase 2, which means a 300-mile stretch to be built after Phase 1. The timeline and details for this are yet to be determined or announced. Five years ago, when Governor Gavin Newsom revealed his downsized vision for the California bullet train, he proposed constructing a 171-mile starter section in the Central Valley, slated to commence operations by 2030 with a budget of $22.8 billion. Today, that blueprint is unraveling. Anticipated costs now surpass available future funding, the official estimate for future ridership has plummeted by 25%, and the timeline for passenger service initiation is slipping. These developments are sparking fresh concerns about the fate of the America's most extensive infrastructure undertaking. According to updated cost figures from the California High-Speed Rail Authority, the expenditure for constructing the initial 171-mile segment has surged to an astounding $35 billion, exceeding secured funding by $10 billion. Astonishingly, this partial system now costs more than the $33 billion estimate for the entire 500-mile Los Angeles to San Francisco system, which voters had endorsed in a bond back in 2008. To compound matters, the total cost projection for the complete system now stands at up to $128 billion, resulting in a daunting funding gap exceeding $100 billion for policymakers to grapple with. The hefty $128 billion price tag excludes cost revisions for two distinct segments between Palmdale and Anaheim. Historically, the Rail Authority has refrained from updating costs until completing environmental assessments. Consequently, there might be further substantial increases in expenses, leading to additional moments of financial astonishment once those costs are factored in at a later date. Implementing high-speed rail in California was always akin to a moonshot. Many transportation experts emphasize the challenges of high-speed rail systems, citing steep initial expenses, lengthy construction timelines, and complications arising from land acquisition, station construction, navigating through mountains, and spanning rivers. Countries that have successfully developed such systems often have centralized or even authoritarian governmental structures, such as France or China, which facilitate streamlined decision-making processes. In contrast, the United States operates within a highly decentralized system of government. Here, numerous competing jurisdictions vie for control over essential resources like land, water, and electricity. Moreover, there's a political tradition, particularly in the western states, that prioritizes individual freedom and private property over collective ventures serving the public good. This decentralized nature adds another layer of complexity to large-scale projects like high-speed rail. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating topics and amazing projects. Also, tell us in the comment section what topic you want us to cover next. See you in the next video.